So there was an affirmation that I thought was very poignant. I didn't hear very much enthusiasm on it. What kind of year is 2018?
Fantastic.
What is it? A fantastic year, right? Why is it a fantastic year? Because you are here and you're part of it. That's why. Well, there's a lot of things to look forward to. So the talk for this Sunday is entitled Peace on Earth, Goodwill to All. Kind of apropos, right? Where do we start? Oh my God. Well, I always like to start with Holmes, because that's where we are. Defines peace as a state of inner calm. Can you get that? A state of inner calm. He didn't have one for goodwill. That's a tougher one sometimes. So I went to the Urban Dictionary. Oh, but Marion is handing out a piece of paper to everyone here. Please take it. Don't say no. It's flash paper. You probably know what that means. No. It means you're going to flash into a new existence. At the end of the talk, we're going to do what's typically called the burning bowl ceremony. So during my talk here, I would like you to just listen to what comes to you and understand that the magnificence that you are in this and every life, in this entire existence, may have flaws if you allow them to come. Those flaws, however minuscule, however great, however affecting of your life, they are not permanent. They're always subject to change. And in that change is where the ceremony comes in. So while we're talking, I would like you to just allow that one thought of change, that one thought that's been bugging you forever, that you would really like to just be rid of. And just write it onto paper. And at the end of the talk, we're going to help it disappear for good. So getting back to the talk title, I had to go to the Urban Dictionary for definition of goodwill. I mean, I could come up with my own, but goodwill, an attitude of kindness or friendliness, benevolence, cheerful acquiescence or willingness, a good relationship as of a business with its customers or a nation with other nations. And what is peace? A state of inner calm. And how does that come into play with that relationship with other people and other nations? Well, let's start with peace on earth. So what does peace on earth look like? How do we achieve it? Who does it include? Everybody? Only specific people? Only the good people? Are there examples that we can look around to see to kind of move into our own application? And when will we know? How will we know when it's arrived? Peace on earth. That's 7.6 billion people in 195 countries speaking 6,909 languages at last count. I guess it's go big or go home, huh? 7.6 billion people. So does that bring you a sense of being overwhelmed at just the magnitude of it? Or does that bring you a sense of being overjoyed at knowing But there are so many people that can be working on the same thing at the same time. What if we started a little smaller? Since I know some of us may be feeling a little overwhelmed. How about peace in our country? 323 million people living in 50 states and 16 territories, all self-governing. Try and get Congress together to get one thing together. I don't know. Maybe we start with a different question. How do we start? Do we look around us for things that we see as evil to be conquered and replaced with what we believe to be good? Who do we put in charge of that? How do we know what peace looks like? What are the examples? I'm just going to throw something out there. Ever hear the expression, before you start cleaning out your own trash? I'm sorry, the verse. Before you start cleaning out someone else's trash, best be taking out your own. What does that mean? I'm just throwing it out there. And how does that apply to bringing peace on earth? But what does trash look like? There's another saying out there. One man's trash is another man's treasure. How does that apply? How does that apply to what your concept of what evil, bad, good, indifference means? How do we put all that together? Peace, a state of inner calm. What if we make mistakes along the way to peace? How will we know if they are mistakes or divinely guided paths? And who judges whether it's a mistake or the correct path? Exactly. It's a state of inner calm. Peace. 7.6 billion people. 7.6 billion ways of looking at the same set of circumstances. 7.6 paths trudging up the mountain, across the desert, through the swamps, and everywhere else. Which one's right? But wait, don't all paths lead to God? If you've heard me talk before, and many of you have, you know that I have talked about the commonalities of each of you. And that each of us has something in common. We all laugh, we all cry, we all get upset, we all love, we all walk, we all talk, we all do all kinds of things that are very common to each of us. We worry, we pray, we hope, we set intentions with the best of intentions attached. We look at our calendars and we say, it didn't quite happen the way I planned. Just to quote a phrase in a piece of music. But isn't that how life really is? Do we know what's going to happen the very next second from now? No. There's only the now. We can only affect what happens now. We can't take care of the past. We can get stuck in it. We can recognize a mistake and think, oh my God, I'm the biggest failure ever, and just sit there and be miserable for the rest of our lives, knowing that, oh, that mistake, I can't overcome it. Or we can look at it and say, stuff happens. You learn from it and move on. We all have that commonality. A state of inner calm. So how does Holmes define peace as a state of inner calm, and what does that mean, and how does that inner calm bring peace on earth and goodwill toward men, or toward all? I'm going to go out on a limb here. It could be a strong limb, or it could be very shaky, depending on your perception of what it is. I'm going to say that this place of inner calm, this state of inner calm, is where it all starts. So what's a place of, or a state of inner calm? Hell, I don't know. I don't know what it is for you. I know what it is for me. For me, when I think of a state of inner calm, I think of a state of joy, of knowing who I am and where I come from. I think of conversations with that intuitive voice that is trying to lead me down the path that I believe I should be going on, but I don't always listen to it. But I always have that opportunity to get back on it and start walking again. It brings me to a place of peace. I think you know what that means. It brings me to a place of knowing that I am what I am, that I am part of that greater consciousness from which all things come. I know that. We don't always accept it because, stuff happens. But I know that. If I go quiet and I go into myself and I allow all of the noise, all of the stuff out there to just fall away, I am left with that overwhelming joy of knowing. It's innate, is it not? Aren't we always asking, isn't there more? Aren't we always searching for that answer that we know lies within us that is going to move us forward to the next step? The state of inner peace. But I also understand that I'm not always living in that perfection, but I'm trying to allow that voice to get me to. In other words, I sometimes forget that in the moment of this physical life, that I am one with that from which all things come, from which I come. 7.6 billion people on this planet. 7.6 billion brains. One greater consciousness that unites all of it together. You ever had that feeling of, they call it deja vu, where you think you've met somebody or done something before? Is that because you really have, or is it just something that's similar that you've experienced, or is it your greater consciousness connecting with that greater consciousness that combines all those billions of minds? Just something to think about. Sometimes I understand that I am source. I am of that I am. I am of that I am that knows, and that knows that it knows, and that knows that it knows that it knows, and go on forever that I am. And by virtue of being, I am. I can be in that inner state of peace. And I can allow that start with myself to move forward to all who surround me and beyond. I was reading this morning, interesting book, Dan Brown, Origins. He's also the one that wrote Da Vinci Code and some other ones that have been very successful. A place or a state of interconnectedness, a place where all thoughts go, all thoughts are received, all thoughts are accepted, all desires are accepted, and all connection is made just by virtue of being. By virtue of allowing that universal energy that is inside us to explode outward. Have you ever walked into a room feeling really crappy, and somebody in that room just lights up everything and just immediately you just feel better? That's that greater consciousness at work. That's your inner voice telling you, hey, wake up. Something good's here. Be conscious of it. Ooh, being conscious of it. How does that play into world peace and goodwill to all? It's what I strive to become. A person who is conscious of that state of I am. Conscious of it and able to put that into play into my life. That's that person that lights up the room. There's something about them that just oozes. There goes my Troward again. It just oozes forward with that primordial urging of togetherness, of peace, of love, of a state of inner calm. So what's the antithesis of a state of inner calm? Chaos? The universe was brought forth in chaos by one small existence of order. Where do you play in that? Is there sometimes just seems like there's just chaos all around you and life is just, God, I don't know what the heck's going on around here, but I can't make heads or tails of it. So is that the time to go in and understand that you are that inner calm, that you are that piece of order that can bring sense to it, at least for yourself? And if you bring sense to it for yourself, does that not allow others to see you as that person in the room that just lights everything up and just makes them happy and allows them to go forward in a better way? Or am I being selfish and thinking that I might have that effect on other people? You might have that effect on other people. You know that I know who you are. If you've heard me talk before, you know that I know the truth of who you are. Who are you? Anybody want to throw it out there? Okay. I'll remind you then. You are an extension of the all that is. You are perfect in every aspect of your truth. There is no other you. There is no other you. You are that unique expression of the all that is, bringing forth your purpose, which is to learn, to grow, and to share that energy with all that are around you. Bringing a state of inner peace to yourself and to others. So what is peace on earth? Where does it start? It starts here, don't you think? You really don't have any control over telling other people what to do, right? Have you tried that with your kids? No. I I work for a personal injury law firm, and I have just finished with some clients who's have a son who turned 18 and went to college. And the first words out of his mouth when he got to college were, "You can't tell me what to do anymore, Dad. I'm 18. Right? But you can go within and know that you are of that source, that you are of that inner peace that is intended for this existence. And if you listen closely enough, you know how to allow that in. Is there doubt? Yeah. There's a lot of doubt in this existence. But how do you go out? How do you get rid of that doubt? You know. You go to a quiet place and you allow yourself to know. Do you accept that you can make mistakes? You don't accept that you can make mistakes? You're perfect in every way regardless? Yes, you are. But doesn't life sometimes get in the way? Is that why they have the sign stuff happens? I like this little magnet thing that I bought. It has a picture of a dog, and the dog is doing his business. And it says, "Poop happens, pick it up and move on." Too often we allow ourselves to get caught up in the poop. Or whatever the word you want to use. But if you allow yourself to get past it, if you allow yourself to go back within and understand that you are of that source that is all things, you are of that greater consciousness that connects all things and all beings and everything that there is, to understand that everything is connected. Whoa, suddenly I don't feel so alone anymore. I know that I am not alone. I know that I am accompanied by the greatest power that could ever be imagined. So when I get down and I get low, on those days when poop happens, and I am so far away from that state of inner peace, sometimes it's hard to be quiet and listen to that voice that says you are not alone. Because sometimes we just, I don't know, sometimes it seems like we like to get caught up in our misery. You know, I don't know what that's all about. Happens to me, happens to everybody I know. We all start feeling poopy. And then we kind of get over it. And then something happens, somebody walks in the room that lights things up. Or something happens that just reminds us, and we move on. We pick up from the mistakes that we've made, and we move on. We learn, we grow, we expand, we allow our light to shine again and to affect that outer world that surrounds us. And it starts here. I love this saying from Emerson. I think I use it every time I talk. That to understand that we make mistakes and to allow ourselves to learn from it and to move on is to get our bloated nothingness out of the way. It's what those thoughts are that try to control us. They're nothing. They're bloated thoughts that really we have magnified into a condition that is way too important. Oh, I lost my favorite pen. Oh, I've dropped my phone again. Jesus. Broke it. Oh, man. Are there other phones? Are there other pens? Are there other people? When you've lost a friend because they've moved on or they've gone in a different direction, have you not already affected their lives in some way? Probably for the better. When you are feeling dumpy and poopy, have you not already made the decision to move away from it? And quiet yourself and think about it. It's exactly what you're doing. You're allowing it to get out of the way, allowing all the good to come in and moving forward. Imagine if everyone in the world thought about moving their bloated nothingness out of the way for the greater good. I'm going to use my favorite